Good afternoon, everyone, and a warm welcome to the Coaching Campus webinar. My name is Kaylin Philander. I am SACAP's coaching manager and ICF coach, and I'll be your host for this insightful session, where we will explore different coaching disciplines that help individuals thrive in both personal and professional spheres. Today, we have a stellar lineup of SACAP alumni coaches who will share their expertise in life and self-care coaching, career and development coaching, business and team coaching, and mental performance coaching for professional athletes. Whether you are an inspiring coach, a seasoned professional, or someone looking to embark on a transformational journey, this session will provide valuable insights to navigate your personal and professional growth. Joining us this afternoon, we have Jean, a professional self-development coach at Light Up Within's Holistic Wellness Retreat Center. Jean is dedicated to inspiring individuals to connect with their entire being, heighten awareness, and find fulfillment to create a purposeful balance in life and work. She has owned a private coaching practice since 2017 and has helped countless individuals achieve their goals. We have Jay Allen, an experienced ACC ICF credentialed career and development coach, a facilitator, an Enneagram practitioner, author, and trainer. Jay Allen supports individuals on their mission to grow in their careers and personal lives. Her approach is deeply personalized and rooted in down-to-earth guidance, making her a trusted partner in career and personal development journeys. We are also joined by Nkulu, who serves as a non-executive director at Cell Life, an NGO/NPO committed to improving the lives of those affected by HIV in South Africa. Nkulu believes leadership is a transformative journey, empowering others to embrace and take ownership of their growth. His insights on business and team coaching will offer valuable perspectives on leadership and empowerment. We have Krystle, a mental performance coach who specializes in optimizing the mental game of professional athletes and high achievers. With tools grounded in neuroscience, Krystle provides tailored practical solutions that help individuals achieve excellence. If you're looking to elevate your performance mindset, Krystle's insights will be essential. And last but certainly not least, we have Nadia, SACAP's very own coaching coordinator, who will share key perspectives into SACAP's coaching offerings. If you're interested in advancing your coach education or exploring the opportunities available within SACAP, Nadia will provide all the details you need. Now, without any further ado, let's get started. I'll hand over to our first speaker. Jean, over to you.
Hi, everyone. It is so wonderful to be with you all today, and I look forward to diving into the space with you. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about my holistic self-development coaching and specifically about Light Up Within and my holistic wellness sanctuary. So Light Up Within, the model really focuses on providing individuals with a whole body support system where health, wellness, and connection are at the front. So it is so vital that we start to heal our mind and body. And this is a sanctuary that I've created in order to do that. So I use a variety of different holistic modalities and processes, as I have my background in psychology, professional coaching, counseling, and the science of yoga, alongside a variety of other modalities that I've integrated. So it's really important to create that whole body space. So this is one of my favorite quotes that I really wanted to share with all of you, because this is really what I believe coaching represents. The doors to the world of the wild self are few but precious. If you have a deep scar, that is a door. If you have an old story, that is a door. If you love the sky and water so much you almost cannot bear it, that is a door. If you yearn for a deeper life, a full life, a sane life, that is a door. And I believe coaching to be a door. So the most important thing is that when it comes to clients and goals and what clients would like to achieve, whether it be neurodiverse focus, whether it be life focus, whether it be wellness focus, whether it be business focus, these are the different areas that I focus on. And the first step is for individuals to learn how to lead themselves in order to lead most effectively in their life. So as we move on to the experience that I've had, the process that my coaching follows is not a one-size-fits-all approach. I actually remember when I started the coaching journey and really embarked on it, I had all these programs that I put together, and I was ready to kind of market a program and really connect to this is what an adolescent program and a managing confidence and working with all these different aspects. And what I found is that even though it was a lovely foundation and a starting point, coaching is most certainly not a one size fits all. And there's a general model like a chemistry session, understanding goals, understanding needs, aligning goals to values, but ultimately the process is very individually driven. And I do integrate all of my experience that I have spoken about, and that is most importantly to form a whole body approach. And what I mean by that is that I believe in order to create sustainable change, the mind, the body, the emotions have to speak the same language. I don't know if you've ever had the experience where your mind, you're working on maybe navigating your narrative, but your body is having a whole different experience. So really getting that mind-body connection is at the front for me. And if depending on where the client is at, I will bring in a variety of other tools. So whether this be brain profiling, whether this be leadership embodiment, whether this be the Enneagram, it's about being able to do deep work in a short period of time. And that is what I really love about coaching, is that you're able to have such an incredible experience and you don't have to be on the couch for an extended period, depending on what you want to work with. So the types of coaching that I work with is, and we'll move on to that space, is my self-development and well-being coaching process focuses on providing individuals and groups with the ability to lead life successfully and build internal support systems for oneself on a physical, mental, and emotional level. So providing all of these different tools in order to create that impactful change. So I don't believe that personal and professional coaching can be separate. We are so complex as human beings, and whatever is going on in our personal world will show up in our professional lives and vice versa. So it is about being able to, okay, stay there. How do I lead myself? How do I meet myself? And from there, create this space where it's a homecoming. And that's what I believe coaching is. It's about being able to come home to yourself. And that is what I have found coaches and a lot of the clients to have said to me. So when I look at what value do I offer clients and what this really looks like, the biggest takeaway that I receive from clients is that apart from the homecoming, it's about remembering who they are. It's about reconnecting to their essence. And most importantly, being proud of who they are. They have an inner confidence that they have aligned to and that they are proud to live for and show up as. Knowing that they have become their number one again is my biggest victory in holding space with these incredible beings that I've had the opportunity of working with. And when you think about, and when it comes to coaching, whether you are thinking about moving through a coaching process, whether you are thinking about studying, it's not about who can I be and I need to become this type of coach or I need to become this type of being in my life, but rather is to think about, start with your strengths. What are you good at? And don't try to be like anyone else. Know your strengths, say yes to your opportunities, and feel the fear and do it anyway. because that is what it's all about. And having worked with a variety of different clients, whether it be in banking, a lot of resistance at times, and resistance can be when you're not meeting the client where they're at. So it's really about holding space, whether it's banking alongside social workers, students, education, groups and teams and NGOs. I've had incredible feedback around how they have changed not only professionally or personally, but both and come home to themselves overall. So when it comes to SACAP and what I have to say about SACAP overall, my biggest takeaway with the PG postgraduate diploma and coaching program is that it was a massive point of connection. Firstly, you are credentialed. So I am a coach supervisor now. I'm going for my PCC this year with the ICF. I am supervised with EMCC. It's really a fantastic space to get to know mentors, supervisors, build a connection of coaches and colleagues. It's an incredible foundation. And the contacts and experience that you get, you won't get anywhere else. I really believe that, because through the internship process that I did, I got so many hours. I got the opportunity to really work in a setting that I am passionate about. And from working in a school, in my internship, I went into neurodiversity and working alongside organizations in the UK. So I would say that if you are thinking about it, go for it, because there is something inside of you that needs to be heard, whether it's going into coaching, whether it's studying coaching, now is your time. So I appreciate your time. Thank you, Carrie, about the poem, but seeing that now. But yes, that is about Light Up Within, and I'm always here as a support system. If you have any questions and curiosities, please don't hesitate to contact me and ask questions. Thank you.
All right. So, hi, I am Jay, so full name Jay Allen, and I'm speaking today on career and development coaching, which is, I guess, slice of the coaching world. So, I'm actually kind of glad that I went after Jean because we share so many similarities in our view of coaching. So, for me, career and development coaching is not so much about giving advice or helping people only with their CVs and that kind of thing. It's also a process to understand what is their potential, what might they be missing out on, and how do they find balance in not only their career, but also in their personal lives. I think where it might differ is that sometimes people might seek practical advice for doing career CVs and all of those kinds of things, but it's more than that for me. So very similar. I don't offer standard packages like come to me and we'll do this very specific thing. It's more about understanding the client's needs and where do they want to go with their career. So for me, the purpose is finding an holistic view and helping people to unpack what are the things that they struggle with, which I'll cover in a minute. And how do we explore what their specific needs are, whatever that might be. And so, like I was saying, my process is not about a very specific, okay, so now we're going to work on CV, job hunting, yada, yada, yada. It's more about understanding what is the need of the client. So, like Jean said, the first session is really chemistry, understanding why are they coming to career development coaching, what are the things that they're struggling with, where do they want to go next, how do they want to find balance in their life. Maybe they're overwhelmed or stretched or whatever it is. Understanding where they are within their career. So someone who's just starting out in their career might have a different approach to someone who's, say, in a more senior leadership level. And building that picture of who the client is how we approach coaching going forward. And then also understanding their goals. So coaching generally is very goal focused. However, I also like to allow the client to hold their goals lightly, because sometimes they come in with this goal of, I want to quit my job right now. And through the process of coaching, they realize that their goal might shift and something different might emerge. And so it's not for me a promise of, okay, so if you come to coaching to quit your job, you're going to quit your job by the end of coaching and find a new one. It's really about what is the underlying challenge that people are facing. So I thought I'd share some topics that come up in career/development coaching. And so pretty much what Jean said, it's not about the career or work. It's about what does the whole life of the person look like? And that can mean they're feeling stuck in their career and they don't know what to do next. There can be a feeling of not good enough, so imposter syndrome. And that can show up in many different avenues. It can show up at work, it can show up in personal life, in their personal relationships, in friendships. And you often see these patterns exist throughout someone's being. A lot of time people come with feeling overwhelmed and they don't know what to do because they're doing too much. They're stuck. Very next point is similar, stuck in burnout, tired all the time, but they can't stop committing and they just can't find a way to find balance. Or maybe someone wants to come for a career change. So I'm working with a client, for example, that's in a very, let's say they're in a legal space. I'm trying to keep anonymity and they want to go to a creative space. So it's a complete opposite of what they do. And so what I'm thinking about is how do we help tap into that person's creativity? What skills do they already have that they can transfer over? Where might they explore and go further for themselves to make that switch? Because it's not going to be immediate. And then how I came to be in this type of coaching is because I actually struggled from burnout. So if you heard in the intro, I am a coach, I'm a facilitator. I co-authored a book. I was speaking at conferences globally and the list goes on. And that's all nice and well for my CV and for LinkedIn. But during the time of writing the book, I just kept doing more and more and more and more and more. It was just getting to a point where I was so overwhelmed and so exhausted that I actually went for coaching. So I went to a mindfulness coach who helped me untangle the mess that was in my head. And I like to tell people that nothing changed about my circumstances when I left coaching that day. Nothing had changed. I didn't drop everything in that moment. But something internal had changed in my mind about how I thought about my situation. And so there were moments when I thought like, oh, I can't drop this thing because, I'm going to disappoint these people. I realized that I actually could. So coaching is also, I saw that as a way to help people unblock themselves, get them unstuck, think about things in a different way. And I was so obsessed with coaching after that's why I ended up becoming a coach. So I saw personally the benefits of that in my own life. And so that's why I pursued it. I decided to talk about the value of my kind of coaching through what I've received as feedback from clients. People have said to me, coaching provides them clarity. So being able to get to the heart of the issue. So remember I said like sometimes people will come in and they'll say, I want to quit my job. That may not be actually the problem that they're struggling with. It might be the inability to set boundaries at work, for example. So getting to what's really at the heart of the issue and then working with it. And I am very fluid and flexible when it comes to my coaching style. So I often will let people just word vomit for the first 15 minutes if that's what they need. And then we start adding some structure. It's also about action. So remember, I said people come in and they feel stuck. They're like, I don't know what to do. So coaching also helps people to clarify what are their next steps. And the next step doesn't even have to be the big end goal. It can just be, can I go find some information here? Can I go look at what a creative job would entail and what kind of qualifications I might need, whatever comes up. So how can we create action? The third one I think is so important is the feeling of feeling heard. I think generally we can vent and share to friends and colleagues and we can tell so many of our loved ones all the things, but sometimes, and this is not because people are being mean or unkind, but sometimes people don't really hear us because we always focus on our own stuff. And so coaching provides a space for people to feel heard. It's someone listening to you and all of you and really listening to what you're saying and not offering a judgment or advice or you should do this and should do that. It's really about just holding the space for someone to be heard. And then lastly, creating a space for change. So one of my clients recently said, one that actually wants to quit their job, said that their leadership team had noticed that their behavior at work had changed because of coaching. So they had seen a positive shift in themselves. And even so, this client felt like, oh, they hadn't made a lot of progress in coaching if you were to look at it like systematically or very tangibly. But people noticed the change. And I think that is what's quite important. So just in terms of how I structure my coaching. So as I mentioned, I don't have very strict plans that people can sign up for. Mine is very much an offering of one-on-one coaching. As an Enneagram practitioner, this is always optional. So I don't ever recommend that people can do Enneagram. If they want to do it, they can request it, but it's not something I push. But it can be a very beneficial way for someone to understand what are their strengths and their blind spots within a workspace. And then lastly, just for me, what's important is also giving back always. So I've created free guides that is available, and it's totally free. It's not even like a marketing strategy. I don't ask for emails. People can just download it freely, which helps people who have been either laid off or retrenched from jobs, helps them to refocus themselves and helps them to structure their CV and figure out what the next steps are. And I do this because I was retrenched twice. So I know the struggle. And that's just my way of giving back. And those are things that I offer. For me, the postgraduate diploma was so rewarding and so hardcore in many ways. But the thing that I loved the most about the program was the practical experience of it. I did love the theoretical stuff and I love the assignments. And like as someone who used to be a slacker at school, I worked so hard in this program because every course was super interesting. But the practical stuff was really like golden. I think when I joined the program, I was so freaked out about how will I ever sit in a coaching conversation with someone for more than 5 minutes. Now I can do it for more than an hour and it's not that big of a deal. Like I don't even think about it. So I think the practical experience was super important. The academic portion was really good, especially when it comes to understanding how adults learn, the neuroscience and neuroplasticity, all of that was just magical. And I still have friends that I speak to from the program. And now and then we have coffee and support each other in our coaching ways. So overall, I think if you are considering the program, you should do it. I know we don't say shoulds, but do it. But that's all from me. And so thank you very much. And I am handing over to Nkulu.
And thanks for the intro and yeah, interesting segue into my world and what I offer from a coaching perspective. You'll see as the holding slide, it really is around empowering ambitions with authenticity and purpose. And it's taken me a long time to craft this mission statement, which really informs my coaching approach. I have just on 30 years of human capital experience at a generalist level in varying multinational organizations, but also at a short stint for 3 years as a chief executive officer of an NGO. And so part of my journey is 15 years at a C-suite level as an HR executive, and obviously played the role as a CEO in an NGO. So I do believe I have some opportunity to partner with and journey with leaders, specifically when it comes to leadership coaching. But really, my process and my methodology, as it were, is anchored in empowering ambitions with authenticity and purpose. It's taken a long time to craft that mission statement, but it really is a helpful guide for me and for my clients as well. Great. So for me, in terms of coaching and those who are currently attending SACAP and those who are thinking about entering into the coaching world, you will come to a place where you need to understand for yourself what coaching means and what it represents. So what is coaching? And for me, it's really around two main things. It's about a collaborative process. It really is about enabling self-discovery and transformation within a client. It's a thought-provoking approach that really facilitates insight rather than just providing the answers. And so really my role as a coach is to act as a thinking partner, empowering the client to achieve a sense of clarity, a heightened sense of confidence, and really the ability to take action, be it small or large. It's all incremental, and it's based on the client and where they're at. And so unlike consulting, which I do as my other side gig, as it were, I'm a human capital consultant as part of my practice. Unlike consulting, coaching doesn't give the client the solutions, but it helps them find their own path forward. So I do cover an aspect around life coaching, specifically around purpose and process. Really here it's about helping individuals align their lives with their core values. I'm a values-driven, purpose-driven individual, and I find that that modality helps in terms of the conversations that I facilitate within clients around values, around strengths and ambitions. Really, the journey starts by clarifying the client's goals and values, which provides a foundation for the coaching process. It really is super helpful. Then it's about identifying any barriers or limiting beliefs. Those mindsets that kind of retard or limit the person's ability to move forward. And then it's about collaborating together to develop a very clear plan of action going forward. And then ultimately, it's really establishing those systems of accountability. I just came out of a conversation now with a client around how do we create accountability? Who's going to play that role for you? And how frequently are you going to check in? So super important. And so the key benefits of life coaching include increased confidence, improved decision-making, and a better work-life balance or life-work balance, depending on how you want to see it. The next aspect of my coaching, which is the next slide, which I apply my trade a great deal in, is around team coaching. And specifically, when it comes to building teams and working with teams, it's to strengthen collaboration, build trust, and it's about overall team performance. A lot of my time is spent in corporate environments, in facilitating return of investment on individuals and groups, and what that looks like at a team level. And so group coaching facilitates that experience. In this process, really, I take the time to diagnose team dynamics, understand where individuals are, how they work together, and how don't they work together. We then focus on building that psychological safety so that the team members feel comfortable to take risks and to be able to speak up in the group context. And the coaching process that I follow enables that. And then we'll look to embed the high performance mindset, specifically pertinent to the particular group of individuals as it relates to the corporate environment, be it at a business unit level or holistically at a company level, be it a small organization. And then the end result is really around seeing enhanced high-functioning team. Hopefully they're able to tackle challenges and drive results far more effectively. There is a sense of transformative journey that they go through that experience. And so a lot of my systemic way of training and facilitating the coaching process really encourages that. My executive MBA program has done a lot to enhance this particular area of my coaching ability, that systems thinking and how systems are organized and teams organized within that context. Super helpful and super valuable. So a lot of credence spent to that. So my coaching model is premised on what I call the APE, comes down out of my mission statement. It's around authenticity. So that heightened level of self-awareness that's generated within the individual. It's about values alignment with what they become aware of. And ultimately, how do they build their confidence going forward as it relates to a particular goal or outcome they're wanting to achieve. And then we look at the purpose. Now, vision clarity is super important. As I entered into this field, it was really important for me to have a sense of purpose, a mission, and hence my mission statement. But at the same time, facilitating this within the client, oftentimes I ask, so, what is it that you're aiming to achieve? And to what end is that goal hoping to achieve? And it takes the client time to think quite carefully and say, oh, actually, it's anchored into a bigger picture. It's a bigger journey that I'm on. So vision clarity is important. And aligning to that is around goal setting. It's those incremental shifts to transformation to achieve a particular purpose and hopefully align themselves strategically with where they're heading. And then the final component in my model is around empowerment, generating the accountability, not only with self, but with others. Super important. And knowing that you're going to have to check in with somebody who's going to ask you the right questions, very, very helpful. And then the other aspect is around resilience. It's about staying the course. By no means is this a linear experience. There's some swings and roundabouts, toing and froing as an individual journeys forward. There is that 2 step forwards, 1 step back construct sometimes. And so how do you sustain the momentum? And that's through resilience, through grit and perseverance. A very, very important component around empowering a conversation within a coaching construct. And ultimately, it's really around personal leadership and team excellence. That's what I aim to drive, embedding this model, and not only at individual levels, but also at group levels as well. Moving on to see the APE coaching model in action. So when we talk about the authenticity phase, some of the coaching questions that I ask is, what values shape your leadership or your life, or both? And the coaching activity that's aligned to that as a practice, and this is not an end list. I do have other modalities I link into, but some of those are on strengths-based coaching and values discovery, providing the tools and working through those with the client. When it comes to purpose, what impact do you want to make, not only in terms of the context where you find yourself now or the bigger system, or just in general life? And then how do we facilitate that through a coaching activity? It's about visioning exercises that I take the clients through in terms of my bespoke packaging and orientation towards that, as well as goal setting frameworks, to name but a few. And then the empowerment process, what are the kind of coaching questions that I ask and look to with a client? How will you stay accountable and resilient and persevere in this journey? And part of that activity is anchored in action planning, reflection always, as well as feedback loops, not only through accountability partners, but self as well, to generate that self-awareness. And so the value of coaching and that I bring and I see in my clients is really around self-awareness and growth. It's about ensuring that there's an enhanced leadership experience as well as at a group level team effectiveness. How do I as a leader show up in the construct of my team, and if I'm leading people, and how does that manifest? And if I'm working at group and team dynamics, how does that personal leadership that I bring to a team manifest in terms of team effectiveness? Super important. Driving resilience and agility. Life happens. As I said, it's not linear. And so the experience is a real one. And so how do we ensure that grit and resilience is built into the conversation, and to ensure finally the sustainability of personal and professional impact? So that's the coaching journey modality that I facilitate in my experience. I bring that into my human capital experience as a practitioner in the consulting world and leverage my coaching capability in that. But I do believe that if you looked at my LinkedIn profile around the life coaching, specifically and leadership coaching, you'll see some of the referrals that I've got in there in terms of the experience on the client basis. But I'm going to close there. I've valued the SACAP journey. It's been a powerful one. What I really got out of it was the connections. And so the person I'm about to hand over is Krystle, and we were in the same cohort together. We've collaborated on small little projects post that experience. Sean, another colleague in the program, we're also collaborating on short projects together. So it really is a familial construct. You do make friends and connections that are long-lasting. The one thing I encourage you to do is, if you are embarking on SACAP or looking in, it's got that psychological edge to it. And I think in terms of my world, it's super powerful in enhancing your ability just to understand more deeply yourself, but also others, but as it represents itself within the coaching modality, as we see people being transformed. So for me, coaching is really a powerful tool for unlocking people and the potential within others. And again, my mission is around empowering ambitions with authenticity and purpose. And so it's all about the conversation. And so what aspect of coaching resonates with you? And if you are on this journey with SACAP, get a hold of your modality that you want to work with. APE works for me. what works for you. And we've seen with the other speakers on the call that they've also entered their own journey as well and found their own sliver within the coaching field. But thank you for your time and thank you for your listening. And you can look onto the social, specifically my LinkedIn profile, if you'd like to connect and get deeper insight in terms of my coaching. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your listening. And I'll hand over to Krystle.
Hello, everyone. Oh my gosh. Nkulu, yes, from my cohort. Bring back such wonderful memories. And I love listening to you speak. So that was so special to be a part of that. I am going to actually start my presentation with a video. And the reason I'm doing that is because when I thought back to when I started studying at SACAP, I had no idea what kind of coach I wanted to be. I just knew that coaching was the thing. I always loved psychology. I always loved working with people, and I'll get a little bit more into that. But I had no idea that I was actually going to become a mental performance coach. At SACAP, you learn about so many different modalities. And it was only after going into the wild and being all by myself and learning about everything and realizing that this was my space. It was only when I started doing more research and looking at the type of clientele I enjoyed working with that I realized that this is where I fit. And so I'm just going to show you a short video so that you can see where the pieces of the puzzle started connecting together for me.
Physically, I'm fit. Tennis is mental. You know, it's all mental.
I took myself to a different place mentally, and a lot of it came from mental practice and meditation and visualization and just seeking knowledge from people who are strong believers. I just became really obsessed with just learning about the power of the mind.
I'm gonna train my brain. Certain challenges I face as an athlete, you know, keeps reoccurring in my career. And it's not like tough challenges, but on the mental side.
Mental strength, which is what I think is your great gift, is much harder to articulate. Can you
I would
help
have
us
to correct
explain?
you. I have to correct you.
Right,
It's not a gift. It's something that comes with work.
You train for the mental side the way you would your serve or your forehand. I think a lot of people think, oh, in the moment, Novak's so locked in. You're saying this is all part of a process.
Oh, I mean, I might appear maybe locked in, but, you know, trust me, there's a storm inside. And, you know, the biggest always battle is within. You have your doubts and fears. I feel it every single match. I don't like this kind of a mindset that I see a lot in sports, like, just think positive thoughts, be optimistic. There is no room for failure. There is no room for, you know, doubts and stuff like this. It's impossible to do that. You are a human being.
Amen. You know, we're a human being. So when I started in this whole process of discovering what I was going to do and how I was going to become a coach and how I was going to help people, I was actually a teacher at a school. So I was working at an all-boys school where it was very high performance, high achievement. And a lot of the time I realized that they were coming to me for these, they were looking for support in an emotional and a psychological way. And I always thought, oh, I wish there was something else that I could do that would make me better prepared to help people to be at their best. And that's where I discovered coaching. I did a lot of research. I looked at a lot of places, and SACAP was the one that I chose. So just in terms of what I did, I've also done the postgraduate diploma in coaching. It's the 2-year diploma, and I can definitely highly recommend it. Everybody's already given you all the value you can get. We can touch on it again later, but I want to get into a little bit more of the story. I've also done a sports psychology short course through SACAP because in terms of coaching, sports psychology is very much a part of the foundation of where everything comes from. And we learned that in that postgraduate diploma. So that was where that seed was kind of planted. And I thought, oh, this is so exciting. This is so amazing. This is where I want to go. And now I've also got my ICF PCC, which in the coaching world, you'll learn that it's quite a prestigious accreditation to have. And when people see that, they know exactly what you've been through and how hard you've worked to get there. So big thumbs up for that. Okay, so in terms of my clients, I was very much a generalist until I realized that the type of people I loved working with were high performers and high achievers. And that's where I discovered working with professional athletes was where I needed to go. And through that process of niching into mental performance and niching into sports, I've also started coaching aspiring professional athletes and doctors and business owners and anyone who is really typically wanting to have a very practical process of working on the mind. So just like AJ Brown said, he said that he wanted to train his brain. He wanted to train his mind. And in terms of what we learned at SACAP, I just really clung onto this aspect of, wow, we can train our brain. Not only are we working with the psychology of what we're doing, but the actual organ of our brain, we can do the two together. And that for me was such a massive selling point. So through working on the actual neuroscience of the brain, but also through psychology, I help my clients with those psychological skills that they need to enhance their performance and their resilience and their confidence. Confidence is a big one, while using all these tools that I learned. And you can see about Kobe Bryant, you know, he also said, I didn't train only my body, I trained my mind too. The mind controls everything, especially when it comes to the physical. So in terms of the different modalities, you've seen how we've had life coaching and career coaching and leadership coaching, and we all have the same fundamentals. However, it's just the orientation that might be different. So people come to me when they are super goal orientated and they're performance centered. So everything about what they do relies on them performing. We have to optimize that performance under pressure. We don't diagnose anything. I don't do anything about speaking through things that are traumatizing or things that need to be worked through. We often refer people, we will refer them to a counselor or a psychologist or a therapist for that. But we're really focusing very much on how can I optimize what's happening. So the foundation is what's working, what's not working, and how can we make all of it work together. So we're constantly, in my type of coaching, focusing on mental mastery versus fulfillment, because the fulfillment comes from the mastery. And if there is anything in there that seems to be a little bit distorted, like maybe we need to work through that because that's not very healthy, we do. But it's very much, that's why people come to me. They really want to master their mental game. So it's not really about fixing things, unless of course a player's had an injury. So sometimes it's in terms of like healing from that injury mentally, but it's really just about unlocking your talent. So I've got here an example. So a business coach might work with a surgeon about how to lead their team, or even maybe Nkulu would work with them on how to be a great leader. But the work I do is focusing on how can we make sure that that surgeon's hand is steady during their 12-hour surgery. So that's the difference in the focus that we have within my coaching. And then I've also got a thing here. A therapist might ask, why do I feel this way? And when you come to me, I'll say, how can we use this feeling to perform better? And very often we'll find that answer. So the purpose of coming to me, it's, you know, there's so many layers. This is not an exhaustive list, but it's very often about resilience and focus and building confidence. What was really fascinating when I started this was I couldn't believe how much self-doubt there was in the professional sports space. So confidence is really a big one. Obviously working on their mental skills, their motivation. And when I say mental skills, I mean things like visualization and then their mindset. So how are they thinking? How are their thoughts driven? What is the beliefs that they have that are driving the way that they're thinking? And then, of course, to consistently operate at their best, even under pressure. So when we've got that element of the adrenaline and we've got that element of external factors that are involved in our success, so we need to be successful for these other things, it has a slightly different, a little bit of a different stake that I find with the clients. So very often we're training that mental toughness of not allowing that to determine how we show up on the day. Even though we want that external pressure because it does give us that adrenaline that helps us motivate ourselves, but it's about going, how can I utilize that as a tool versus letting it overtake me? So why is mental performance coaching crucial for high achievers? So, I mean, Bobby Knight, who's a coach, once said that mental toughness is to physical as 4:1. So if your mental state is not where it needs to be, it doesn't matter how amazing your skills are, it doesn't matter how physically wonderful you are, your mind can get in the way. So your mental skills then become that differentiator. And I've written here, talent gets you to the game, but mindset keeps you winning. And very often the professionals that I work with who are actually predominantly rugby players, you know, the stakes are higher in their environment. And even if I've worked with like business owners, the stakes are also external in terms of, you know, ensuring that things are working for their staff and ensuring that the business keeps doing what it needs to do so that they can maintain the growth that they need. And that's the type of things that they come to me for and the tools that I give them to equip them with that, to deal with it so that their mind doesn't get in their way. Okay, so my process is very practical, and the fundamental of it is Kolb's learning cycle. And typically what happens is someone will come to me, I will do an assessment in terms of asking them questions and figuring things out and picking up on what it is they're talking about and what's getting in their way and the language that they're using. And then we're going to experiment with some tools. So, you know, not every single tool works for every single person. And very often you have to go out into the wilderness and test it out and see what happens. And then we can adapt and really make it so that it will work for you, or we try something different. So the clients will come back to me, we'll have feedback, they'll reflect what worked, what didn't work, what can we build on, what do we need to do that's different, and we literally repeat that cycle over and over and over again. So sometimes there is the discovery and the assessment takes a lot longer, sometimes it's much quicker. I even found with one of my clients who I've been working with for about, I want to say it's almost 3 years now. When he first arrived, he arrived because he'd had an injury and he was going back to play. But when he was playing, he kept making a lot of mistakes. And unlike when he was playing beforehand, like he was quite an amazing and significant player. And all of a sudden, because of this injury, something had shifted. And now, even though he's still coming to me 3 years later, the coaching sessions, it's the same pattern, but he's talking to me about other things. So different areas of growth and development, thinking about what is he going to do after rugby. So it's been really interesting to see how this model has worked from the beginning into the moving out of the sport that he's in. Okay, so the value that the coaching brings, so you get a competitive edge. When I say he has sustained success, a funny thing that you learn when you study coaching is how often we have this definition of what success is that might not belong to us. So in terms of what is successful for the client, so just like with my client that I've just explained, for him, success was to get back to his peak performance that he had before he got injured. And now success is starting to change for him because it's about what is he going to do next? How's he going to, you know, show up and perform in the next phase of his life? Then you get such amazing strength in your decision making. You really get in tune with your intuition and what's right for you. Your recovery becomes so much quicker. And when I say recovery, I mean in terms of mentally what's happening with you. So if you're experiencing self-doubt, how quickly do you bounce into self-confidence? So how long is that recovery from the one to the other? And when you start doing this work, it can really become a split second. It's so incredible when you start seeing the effects of what happens when you put this process in place. And then emotional agility, something really fascinating for me was I had to do a lot of work with the sportsmen about emotions. Very often it wasn't even on their radar. And once they understood the impact that the emotions were having negatively on their performance, then we could do something about it. So it becomes this really amazing thing of removing things that are no longer serving you, because very often they would think that the anxiety was driving them or the overthinking was forcing them to do something when it was actually really, really draining. And then finally, you know, you become more present. And when you're more present, you're less stressed. And if you're present, then you can perform at your peak. Okay, so just in terms of the short term, up to long term, and then personal benefits. So Jean made a beautiful comment earlier about how you cannot separate the personal and the professional, and I wholeheartedly agree. So even though very often the athletes or the doctors or whoever is coming to see me, they're coming to me for a performance-based reason, very often it starts filtering into their personal life and they start reaping the rewards of how they become better communicators because they understand what's happening internally a lot quicker, and then they can do something different with it. And then they're able to also separate work from home. So if something is filtering, they get the tools to manage that so that the one is not negatively affecting the other one. And then I've just written here, in terms of short-term benefits, you generally will get a increase in self-confidence very quickly, because once you understand what's going on and you know how your brain works and what you can do to change it, it becomes this amazing, empowering experience. You have better focus because now you know how to adapt your brain in terms of what you need to do. Again, your decision making and then your recovery. And then you're able to be consistent, because the moment you feel yourself coming out of your baseline that feels like where you're meant to be, you can tackle it immediately, because when you learn those tools, you can use it for everything. And then it also gives you high motivation, because when things start working, it becomes easier then to try things that are a little bit more difficult. And you obviously get a much stronger and more adaptable mindset. You can change the way you think about things as things change. So just in terms of one of the gentlemen who I've studied under, Shazad Shamin, he made a really poignant quote that said, your mind can be your best friend or your worst enemy. And in terms of what I do, we really want to make your mind your best friend, your best sidekick, part of you that is actually the thing keeping you going. And then that's my contact information. I do have a podcast where you can listen to some episodes about your brain. I do have a membership that people sign up for if they're wanting to build their confidence. And then I do the one-on-one coaching, which is the most general way of working with people. So thank you so much. But that is me. And I think I'm now handing over to Nadia, who's going to bring it all together and get you all to see exactly what your options are at SACAP. We all clearly are passionate about SACAP because it's given us this amazing foundation for helping people the way that we love to help people. So I'm so honored that I had this opportunity, and I hope to see some of you in a presentation in the future.
Thank you, Krystle, for the handover, and thank you, everyone, for the opportunity to speak into the SACAP coaching offerings. Good afternoon to all of our attendees and the coaches who presented so beautifully today, feeling energized by the presentation. So thank you for that. So SACAP, as an accredited education provider, has various coaching offerings that is suited for your own individual coaching journey. And I think this message came through so strongly today with the coaches who presented today. On the slide, we have the various coaching offerings, and the first is the postgraduate diploma in coaching. This is an honors equivalent program which sits on the National Qualification Framework as a level 8 program. So the duration of the postgraduate diploma is 2 years of studies, and this includes a 6-month client coaching internship. The PGDC, which is the short for the postgrad, is accredited by the International Coaching Federation, or the ICF, as a level 2 education program, and it carries 193 coach education hours. This program is also approved by Comensa as a gold training provider program. In the middle, we have the coach practitioner program, which is a subset of the PGDC, which is the ICF level 2 program, and it carries 115 hours of coach education hours. This program is also approved by Comensa as a silver training provider program. So the coach practitioner program takes place over 5 months, and it focuses on a coaching foundation and basic coaching skills. In the third row, the advanced coach practitioner program. So this program, together with the coach practitioner program, is accredited by the International Coaching Federation as a level 2 program and Comensa as an approved silver training provider program. The duration of the advanced coach practitioner program is 1 year of study, and this is geared towards individuals who are looking for a deeper dive. So after completing the coach practitioner 5 months, which contains 3 modules, you'd like a deeper dive, you're just not ready to let go of the SACAP program, you are then able to complete the advanced coach practitioner program. SACAP coaching programs are designed
with the working professional in mind. We've seen our cohorts over the past few years, and they are fully employed working moms and dads, and we understand that cohort. We understand our student. So there is a blend of online and in-person classes. There is also a strong focus on ethics in coaching, plus SACAP psychological lens to coaching as an applied psychology. To the right of the screen, we also have on our SACAP Global Campus, Coaching Skills for Managers, which is a short learning program which has a strong framework for managers and leaders to implement coaching conversations effectively within the workplace. So this can happen to empower others to maximize their performance. Within this program, you'll be exposed to core coaching skills as defined by the International Coaching Federation. You learn how to apply the skills you've learned in conversations with colleagues, team members in the workplace, and I'm sure, in a personal capacity. You will also be introduced to basic principles from psychology that will enhance your understanding of human nature, behavior, and what motivates people. The duration of this program is 12 weeks online. There are compulsory weekly online interactive sessions that you'll need to attend. There are discussion forums. There are weekly multiple choice quizzes, as well as a lot of coaching practice. The Coaching Skills for Managers program carries 30 hours of ICF, or International Coaching Federation, coach education hours. And the last offering on our SACAP Global Campus is the Intro to Coaching short course. So this course will provide you with a broader understanding of coaching principles. You'll have an opportunity to explore the important aspects that inform the capacity to coach. This is a 40-hour introductory short course that will show you what supports and hinders effective coaching. During this course, you will also learn how to grow your capacity to build relationships, communicate effectively, cultivate ways to generate goals, and manage your progress in day-to-day life and in the workplace. Thank you very much, Kaylin. I think I'll hand back over to you.
Thank you, Nadia. So we definitely need more than just a lunchtime hour to speak about coaching. Thank you to our incredible panel of speakers for sharing their insights and their expertise with us today. Your contributions have been inspiring, and I'm sure there has been valuable takeaways for each attendee. Personally, this discussion has enriched my own coaching journey, and it has reminded me about the power of coaching, specifically in supporting individuals at different stages of their personal and professional lives. It has also reinforced the importance of continuous growth and the value of investing in yourself. Please do follow us on our various social media channels to stay up to date on upcoming events, program launches and updates, and to see the recording of this webinar. Once again, thank you to our attendees and our panelists for joining us this afternoon, and we hope you have a wonderful day further.